Okay, so now cool thing is Bootstrap gives us a way to easily style forms. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to Sublime, and we're going to do what we've always done before, and we're just going to grab all this head information. That way, we can easily grab the Bootstrap styling. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to do Command Shift down, highlight all this, and indent it as we've done before. Now we're going to include that. So we need a ending body and ending HTML tag. Yeah, so far you shouldn't see much change other than, the default, what type of text we're using. And we will style this form here. So let's go over here and go to CSS. And let's click on forms here. All right, so individual form controls automatically receive some global styling. All textual input, text area, and select elements with form control are set to width 100% by default. Wrap labels and controls in dot form group for optimum spacing. So first thing we're going to do to style this MailChimp is to add that form role form. So let's go over here. We're going to say role equals form. Yep, sorry, wrong form here. Go to our MailChimp form, and we can do it right here after target and say role equals form. All right, and then what we want to do is we want to give this also a class of form group. And you see here input type email class form control. So type email class required email, let's say form control. And you know what? I didn't explain to you what name and value means. Okay, so you see name right here. Now, when you come over here to, let's see what we did here. You come over here to the list fields, you see this field type right here, email. That means whatever gets put into this input field right here, email, is going to be sent to the field type email. In other words, each entry in your list has an email possibility, see emails all capital right here, and it's all capital right here. Then it has an F name, which would be first name, possible entry, and L name. However, these aren't required. See, they're not clicked, and that's why we don't have them in the form. So up here, whenever you did name, this text field name would be first name. So that person would get the attribute for that person of first name would be whatever you inputted there. The attribute of password for that person would be whatever the value would be, whatever you put into that input. And if you were to do, male or female, the value for attribute sex would be either male or female, and then the value for color would be red or blue or red and blue or neither. Okay, I hope I'm explaining that clearly. In other words, name, since we haven't seen that before ever, is just saying what the attribute's name is. Okay, and then the value is going to be whatever you enter. Okay, enter into that field. So where were we at? we had form group and form control. So let's go over here and check out. There we go. So we can take out this label here, and remember it says on Bootstrap that form control is automatically set to a width of 100%. That's why you see it go the length of the screen. So let's go ahead and take out email address. So we don't need this label here. Okay, so email address is gone. You can still go in here. And now I also want to show you something else. See how there is enter email in here? That's this placeholder here. So we want to take this placeholder attribute and give it that value of enter email. And that's just what will happen is as soon as we click on there and start typing, it'll go away. But it's just to give them a hint of what to put in there. And now that we don't have that label of email address, we definitely want this in here. So let's place that in there. Enter email address. Once we start typing, it goes away. Beautiful. And then next, let's go back over here. And how do they style submit? So nothing crazy. They just give it, the classes of button and button default, which we want to keep it looking like the button we already have in there. So let's just give it a class of button or BTN, BTN danger, and BTN large. So we can take away this button because that's a MailChimp styling. And let's also give it a value of whatever you want. Join the fun. Now, come over here and reload the page. Beautiful. So we've learned about forms and we've learned how to style them in Bootstrap. Now, let's take our form and put it over here into our index page. So we're going to replace this button right here. And so we don't get too confused, I'm just going to go ahead and go to View Single. That way we can see what we're doing here in index. And let's go ahead and get all this in. All right. Now what I want to do here is I want to, so let's save this and we'll go over here and check out our page here. So it's on two separate lines. However, I want to make it all on one line. So we've done this before. We're going to, put it into columns just like we did down here. So to do that, remember, what we got to do is go over here and we're going to do a class of row. So class equals row. And then we're going to do div, and let's make this email address part, let's make it 3/4 of the page. So let's say div class column small 9. And then we're going to move this email in, form in, and we're going to end that div. All right, now we're going to give this submit button, we're going to make it 1/4 the width of the page. So we're going to say div class column small 3. We're going to move all this in. We're definitely going to move this in. All right. All right, and these right here, remember, they're hidden. Well, this is if this is error reporting, so this will tell you if the form's a success or an error right here. But this right here is hidden because it's to prevent bots, which are just, computerized machines for filling out this form for spamming our list. So right here, we have 3/4 of the page here. We have 1/4 of the page here. We have the form ending. Doesn't really matter if you end it or not. And then we have the end of the row here. So let's save this, reload the page, and nice. So everything looks good so far. We need to style this email address input right here. So inspect element. Computer's running a little slow here. And let's look at this button. So this button is 69 pixels tall. You can see up there 292 by 69. So for this input right here, we want height 69 px. Nice. Then we want font size. Well, what's the font size of this button? That font size 30 pixels. So let's come back up here to this input. We'll say font size 36 pixels. Nice and obvious. And basically what we will do here is we'll say, ID jumbotron dot form control, and we will do font size and height here. So let's go over, go to custom CSS. And we can do class too. It doesn't really matter. Dot jumbotron, since we only have, one class of jumbotron. And what was it? Dot form control, height 69 pixels, font size 36 pixels. Let's see how this works. Beautiful. All right, so it's all working. We now know how to implement MailChimp into our site. We know about forms, and this site is done. We've done everything we can. We've learned how to include email addresses. We've learned how to do pre-orders and sell stuff on Gumroad, and all the bells and whistles with JavaScript and all the basic building blocks of HTML and CSS. Congratulations, guys. You now know how to build a tower site, and let's move on and learn how to do a blog site or template.